4:30 Wednesday morning. I got up at 4 and then stood in the kitchen thinking about what I was going to say on this video. They get harder and harder to do, and more I just don't do them. But then I'll go a few days or a week or two not doing them, and somebody will be like, hey man, I just did this thing and I've started this business and everything's great, and I have a family now, and I've got my dream job, or I created a business, and thanks for all those videos you made. And I always reply with, you did that work, man. That wasn't me. And they come and they're like, yeah, but thanks for the videos. It gave me the push, or it kept me on track, or when I was lazy, or I was tired, or I fucking was sore, I just needed to hear those words, right? And there's plenty of places to hear those videos, but they give me a little bit of thank you for that. So it spurs me to do them. But then I've made so many of these videos, I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over and over and over. So I've spent 30 minutes thinking about, what am I going to say on this video this morning? And I don't know. I listen to all kinds of shit. I don't know. Here's a few things though. Build the ark. Do I mean go and cut down trees and start building a boat? No, what I mean is you need a place where you can be left alone and you can build your life for the future family that doesn't even exist, and the family that you currently have, right? A man has 3 families: the family he's born into, the family he builds with his wife, and the family that he walks with, that he chooses to be his friends. And most men are missing that third one. They're just busy doing the day-to-day, and they get up and they go to a place that they don't want to go to for a finite amount of money that's not enough for what they feel that they are worth, and they're just kind of trapped. And then they come home and they just sit on the couch and think about how they don't want to get up tomorrow and how they had to be at a place they didn't want to go today, almost like prison. Except at prison, there's a time when you're getting out, and that'll change, and that change will be better than what you're going through right now. And if you knew that on your day-to-day life, that would be different also for you. But you don't have that date set, right? You have to build that yourself. And that takes going through that and realizing that 8 hours you put in at that place, you actually have 16, right? The 8 pays the bills and gets you through the day-to-day. And the next 8 builds your life so that you don't have to go to that first 8 every day, right? For most people, that's 40 hours. Or you put in 60 hours someplace and you get that time and a half. But instead of that, what if you took that other 20 hours and you built something for yourself, or you saved the money and bought some tool or piece of equipment that you could build things that people wanted, and they would seek you out and give you money for it, right? We don't have to go to a trade show. I don't have to walk into a gun shop and show a nylon tactical vest, a LBV, to some dude at the counter who has no idea what it is or where I am or how much it costs. I can simply put that on social media now and show thousands of people who will see that. And when they're interested in it, they will show other people. And you can belong to groups and stuff, right? We used to be able to buy animals and small livestock and stuff off Facebook and off Craigslist. And then they decided, well, that's not acceptable. We can't do that anymore. Now they have groups, right? There are 3, 4, 5 that I know of, groups for Middle Tennessee for small livestock and homesteading animals. And you just get in there. And there's groups like that for nylon tactical gear, or Toyota trucks, or Exmark lawnmowers, or landscaping, whatever it is that you need to know about, or you have a service that you want to provide, or a product, there is a group for it. And that's a double-edged sword, because while you're on Facebook or on social media doing work, right, quotes, you also get sucked into those little reels, and before you know it, you've watched 15, 20, 30 minutes that didn't add to you, right? And we call that, well, I was doing work. Yeah, you were sitting there Only on your own time, when you're doing that, you're not getting paid, right? And you're not moving forward. You have the ability and the option to change things. In the beginning, I said build an ark. What I mean is get a piece of property. You need property, not rent. And if you have to rent someplace or rent a room or sleep in a U-Haul van, you can get a U-Haul van for $20 a day. It's camping. You can do that. If you have to do that for a while or a year or whatever it is to save and not have the wear and tear on the car and not have gas and the time, right? My first shop in Oceanside, I lived in there for 90 days. I wasn't allowed to live there. I just didn't tell anybody I was doing it. Nobody asked. Customers and people would come in. People would come visit me during the day, but they would leave. Nobody said, "Where are you sleeping, John?" Nobody knew. We run our mouths, and most of the problems that get caused is because we told somebody. And it's usually, why did we tell them? Because we were complaining. Stop complaining to people you don't know. Stop complaining to strangers. Stop especially complaining to people that you're doing business with. How you doing? Oh, it's okay so far today. That's not the attitude to have. I don't want to be anywhere near those people. I don't want them touching my food. Pretend until it becomes what is real. That's just your responsibility. I'm going to go in here and pretend to lift these weights, and I'm going to get busy and pack orders and organize things in the shop here. And then the sun's going to come up, and I'm going to open these gates, and people are going to come in here and work, and I'm going to continue to work. And then Brandel's going to be here about 10:30, and we're going to start shooting and filming video content and just do the things that we need to do. The difference is the things I need to do, I want to do. This is my business. I've been doing this for 35 years. It's evolved and changed into a lot of different things, but it all falls under the same umbrella. There's a fence around this property. I can go for weeks and not have to leave here. There's days, I go days and don't leave here and don't even realize it because I don't want to go do something else. I have built something that I want. I have built a place that people want to come to. And you can do that. At 20 years of age, it probably doesn't seem that way. I didn't know what I was doing at 20 or 25. But it was all pretty good. Every time it got better, I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. I never even had a plan. I just kept working and opportunity kept presenting itself. And I know there's people listening to this right now like, man, I present you with opportunity all the time. Yeah, you do. And I'm doing something else. And I'm sure I missed a ton of things and great opportunity and a lot of fun and relationships. But this one's working pretty well. That doesn't mean I can't delve into those and come in and out as need be for both parties involved, myself and them. But I'm got a bunch of animals and I've got a bunch of employees. And what I don't have is management. That's me. I'm the guy that started it and took the risks. I'm the guy that gets up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm the guy that works 7 days a week. That doesn't mean, that doesn't mean 8 hours on the weekends, but a lot of times it's 12 hours on the weekends. And the job is different all the time. But that's me. That's me. You just have to decide what you want. And the world has convinced all these kids now, all they need is a tiny house. Well, the tiny house was cool. That was cool. But now that they got you all to live a different life and have less belongings and less future and less desires and wants, they don't let you put the little tiny house out there anymore. Now they want to come in and inspect. And this little tiny house that was $7,000 a few years ago is now $14,000. And that one over there, that's $20,000. And you can't just set that now and hook it up to power. Now you need an inspection, and that means they're going to make you close up the inside and do the wiring. And that $20,000 building quickly becomes a $35,000 building, right? When you had in your head, you could buy this thing on a rent to own and pay, I don't know what they pay, $600, $800 a month on these buildings. For 10 years, you pay literally over double what the thing costs to do it. And then you got to come up with all the other inspections. And then the inspector tells you, oh, you can't just run these wires here. You have to insulate it. And you can't just have the insulation. You have to put the wood or the sheetrock or whatever over that. And you can't just have that. Nope, not on a final inspection. You just can't do that anymore. Government is involved in everything you're in. So there's ways to skirt around that. You can do differently, but you have to have something. And if you don't have that, you have to join a group of people that do have that, or you have to work your fucking dick off until you are able to have something and then provide for those people with your last name in the future. I'm gonna go in here and get started. You just got to decide what you want to do. I heard something else. Republicans, they have something called property. Liberals, they have something called rent. I'm not telling you to be one or the other. The truth is, they're the same team, right? It's how they get you to root for a team, for a sport that you don't fucking play, and none of them know you, and every now and then they pretend to give a shit about it. That's how government is. They fucking hate you, no matter which side you're on. They just both want you on their side. One says, hey, go to work and create something, and they get you to root for them, and they still take 50% of your money when you have any success. And there's the other side that has convinced you, just work the bare minimum, and we won't steal as much money from you. They don't care what their slaves look like. They just need the slaves. And that's why they're importing a ton of slaves, because through social media and conversation, you guys woke up. Through social media, you see these dudes that told you, hey, you can do this too, and you've done it and had a little bit of success, and you realize, man, the better I do, the more money they take from me. So they get these kids to sit on a couch because they hand them free money, and then those kids hate you because you make more than them and you're the bad guy. Stay busy building some shit for yourself. Go find somebody that loves you, that you love, and make children with them. Until you create your own children and you raise them the way you want, and there's an attack on that. What'd they say, 8 million kids didn't go back to school, to the government school system after COVID? And now they're like, oh my God, we got to get involved in that. I got a friend that makes raw milk, and they want to give her all kinds of grief and hassle over yogurt. All these chickens out here, I can process and slaughter these chickens and put chicken breast in a Ziploc baggie and give it away for free out on the street here in my driveway. But the minute I sell it, there'll be dudes here with badges telling me I can't sell it and wanting to inspect all my shit. And when I don't let them do that, they come back with guys with guns. But as soon as they come in here and I pay them all the money, then that's okay. Nobody got sick. Nobody complained, other than the other guy with chickens who's mad that I'm doing something he's not willing to do. If they all did it, they couldn't do shit about it. But they get somebody, and who complains on you, right? When people get in trouble for something, it's usually people who are interested in what you're doing, who are a little jealous or feel that you're competition. Think about all the guys that get in trouble for guns and stuff, just for possessing them. Who told on them? Somebody they trusted enough to show them what they had. That's always how it is. The guy that's talking shit about you on the internet, it's not somebody different than you. That motherfucker looks like you, wears similar clothing, probably drives the same truck, has similar stickers on his truck. That's the dude talking trash to you. It's not some dude or some woman that's completely different than you. It's all about division. It used to be 2 teams. And then they figured out how to divide that team into a couple teams. And they bust those little factions down into smaller factions. And then you are alone. That's what it's all about. If you all stood up and said, no, we're not fucking doing this. then they couldn't do it. There's governments being overthrown all over the world right now. They call them the Gen Z revolutions, right? Nepal and all those places where they're pulling politicians out and burning their houses down and shit. They lost control of those people, but they've got real good control over you. They got real good control over you. How do you know all the shit that's messed up in the world? It's this thing. Most of it, you don't even know for a fact that it's real. If you turned this off and worked on some shit that benefited you, you'd be a whole lot further ahead. We'll go get some of these weights moved. Get some stuff done here. I got a couple hours before everybody gets here. And none of their shit works the way I need it to work through the day unless I spend those couple hours in here. It's not a complaint. It's not a worry that I have to do it. It's what I do so that I can do what I want to do all the other times. That's the difference. When you start a business or whatever, right? You had the uncertainty. You showed up over and over after your 8-hour day. You showed up to your other 8-hour day with uncertainty as to whether you'd be paid or not. That first job you show up to that you complain about, somebody started that business. You know you're getting paid. They were willing to do something you weren't, and now they get to do things that you don't. If you're mad about that, take the risk, invest the money, and see if you're smart enough to make that shit work. You are. You just have to never quit.